Yeah, 1 second. Just share my screen. Okay. So send keys of some email ID. So let me just okay. Send keys is the method to enter any value. Okay. So here we are entering some value, right? We have to use send keys of the value. What is the value you wanted to enter? Let me just try to run this one and see. So what happens? Okay, the browser is open. It should give the URL and it should maximize. It should click on sign in and it should enter the, as you see, it has entered the ramesh1234@gmail.com, right? So what is the next step you have to do? Create an account. So what you have to do, you have to find the element of that. Create an account. Let's go back here. Create an account. So create an account is the button. This button has ID and name. So now we'll try to use the name because we have used ID, right? Let me just use it. So what you have to do, driver dot find element by dot name.
No need to write name and ID. Only one is enough.
No, only one is enough.
Okay.
One is enough. So name is submit create. So what is the action you have to do here? Dot click. So it should click. Already registered. Okay. It should click and it should come here. Okay, let me also put the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some mail ID.
I have
So
a small doubt.
yeah, sure.
For one field you are entering ID and for some time you are entering name. How can we choose whether we have
No, that's
to?
what it is. You can use ID and name. I mean, anything you can use. As long as there is an ID name, you can use. There are two different options. I mean, why I have used name here, ID here means just showing you like here I have used ID and here I have used name. That's all. Nothing different. But you can use name here and you can use ID here.
ID.
It is all different
Okay,
ways of
okay,
finding the element. Okay. It is all
okay,
different ways of finding elements. So these are the locators we have, right? Anything you can use.
okay. By using this 5 or 6, we can use anything.
You can use anything. But ID and name we'll use because this is straightforward. They are giving here the ID and name
Mhm.
so that like the performance will be better if we use ID and name
Okay.
because it is tied ID, right? Unique ID. So it will directly go there and find the that element. I mean, the
Okay.
other question they'll ask like, so in the interview, so we have these many locators, which is the best one, and why is that?
Mm.
When you have some unique ID or unique name, okay, then you'll use that so that Selenium will directly go into that specific unique element and find that and apply the action. But when you don't have ID or name or link text, there is something called XPath. So this is the one we'll use at the end. When you don't have ID, don't have name, don't have link text, and don't have anything, then finally you go for XPath. So XPath, what you do in the XPath, you have to mention like this. From the root node, you have to say uh, head, body, div, all the tags you have to mention. Okay. Suppose for the
Mm-hmm.
same, let's see, just for the same button, I'll say copy XPath. Okay. When I say copy XPath, since this has ID is there, it has given. But if I don't have ID and something, okay, when I try to say XPath from HTML, it has to come. So first it has to come to HTML, then body, then div2. See under div, if there are, see under this div there are p div1, div2, div3. Like that, it has to come from the root node. These we call as nodes. Parent and child
Notes. Okay.
tags are nodes. Okay. So suppose you don't have for this button, suppose they have not given ID, they have not given name, anything. So you don't have anything to find that. So what you have to do, you have to find the XPath from the root node. I mean, from HTML, go to body, go to div, go to div2, again go to div, until this button. Selenium will try to find this button by following the path. It will be
Mm-hmm.
performance wise, it will be slow because it has to find the element from the root node. It has to search under HTML what all I have. Okay. So I have to go to body. Under body, it has to come to div. There might be several other elements, but whatever path we mentioned, it has to filter everything, and finally it has to come to button. Okay. Performance wise, it is
Okay.
very slow. But when you have something ID and name, so
Name.
yeah, this is unique. So Selenium will directly go to this, apply this filter, so it will directly find this one. I mean, that how it works in the back end. We don't know how it works, but when you use XPath, the performance will be slow. When you use ID or name, it will be faster.
First priority to ID, name, or link.
Yes, when you have the last priority is XPath.
XPath. Okay.
Class name, like ID name, we have something called class name as well. Class name, ID, name, link text, and CSS selector. There is something called CSS selector. Uh, Finally, partial link test is the same. Suppose like there are at times link which has, see, forgot your password, right? So there sometimes
Mhm.
there is a link, very long link. Okay. So in those cases, you'll just use partial link test of some text in the whole. See, if I use forget, partial link test of forget, then it will try to find forget your password has forget or not, any link which has the forget or not. I mean, partial link text, I'm finding the element with partial value, partial text, not with the full
Okay.
text. Sometimes we'll be having link which has the long text. In those cases, instead of mentioning link text of the entire text, we'll use partial link text and use that partial value. Link text and partial link text is the same. Whenever you have anchor tag, you'll use that. Partial link text is like, you don't need to give the entire text, just give some text of that link, it will find.
Link.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, suppose you create an account here, 5678, and click create an account. So it will come to this page, right? Here you have to mention, suppose if it is this radio button, then you have to inspect, So input, there is a ID. So you can use that ID. If there is no name, ID, both are there. Okay, for this one, okay, see here. See, I have input type radio. For the first radio button, I have name, ID, gender, right? Even for the second radio button, I have ID, gender, right? Same name for both radio buttons. Okay. So even though you have name, you cannot use it because if you use ID, gender, Selenium will confuse which one it has to select. This one has to click or this one because both has same name. If you
Same,
say
yes.
driver dot find element by name, then Selenium will say I cannot find because there are two elements which have same name. So which one I have to select? So in those
ID.
yeah, in those cases we have to go ID, gender one and gender two. Then you can use ID of gender one. So it will identify. This is unique, right? It will identify. But if you use name, so since both has the same name, it cannot find. Okay. So suppose if you want to try out that, let's try that. Okay. So what we do, driver dot find element by dot name and give dot click. Okay. Let's see what it will do. It should basically throw an error because there are two elements which has the same name. Okay. Okay, let's see if it finds something. It threw an exception, no such enable, unable to locate element. So I cannot locate with the selector name, ID, gender. But when you see, you have gender. Okay. But all so in these cases, even though you have ID, gender, so it is giving that no element, unable to locate element. So in those cases, you have to think, okay, there might be something else which has the same name. So in those cases, you can say control C, control F, and control V. So it's just one of six. See, one of six, right? So just go one by one. Okay, name, ID, gender is there. Okay, and you see, okay, there is another name which has the same value. So that is the reason it is giving that. So in those cases, I mean, this is how you debug your issue. Okay, because in in the bottom, suppose this ID, gender might be there at very bottom for some other element which you are not aware of that. But you think, okay, ID, gender might be unique, and you use that, and it says unable to locate element, but you have that element with the name. So in those cases, you have to, I mean, this uh, option should come to your thought like, okay, there might be another element, because it will not give I have multiple elements with as the same name. No, it will just say unable to locate element. It says no such element. Even if there is no element, or maybe multiple elements with the same name, it will say the same error, unable to locate element. But you have to think, okay, since you have the name, but still it is not able to find, it means that, okay, there might be multiple elements with the same name. So in those cases, you can say control C, F, and put control V. So it has given one of six. If you see here, there are six with the ID, gender. If you go one by one, then you will find, okay, there are two elements which has ID, gender as the name. Okay, let's now if you go with id is gender of 1, then it should click the first radio button. See, all you need is that. So I mean, that is automation. That's all. Okay, there is nothing more into that. All you need to is that you have to find the element, apply the action, go one by one, go each step one by one, find the element, apply the action, and run it and see if it is working. Okay, so I mean, uh, the base thing is that is all automation. There is nothing, right? All, I mean, but there are different. There are check boxes. Okay, there are drop downs. Okay, there are mouse over things. If you know how do you select a value from the drop down, okay, then wherever in any application, if you see the drop down, you know how to handle that. All you need to know is how to enter the text, how to enter the radio buttons, how to handle the radio buttons, how to, what is that, how to select some value from these drop downs, how to see if the element is already checked or not. I mean, if you know all these different kind of elements which you have in your application, so it is the same wherever you go, only those will be there. The drop down will be there in any application, text boxes will be there, check boxes will be there, radio buttons will be there. Okay, and I mean, what else you'll have, buttons will be there. So if you know each and every element, there might be 10 or 15, not more than that, right? There might be check boxes, text box, radio button, drop downs. Maybe you have to right click sometimes. Maybe you have to do mouse over. Only when you do mouse over, the other elements will. There are links. Okay, if you know how to do mouse over, how to click on link, how to enter the text, how to select the value from drop down, how to select drop down values, how to select check boxes. So every application will have the same. Wherever you go, all web applications will have the same. All you need to know is that, yeah, how to find those elements. Now I think there is another error, same error has come. What is that error? No such element, id gender 1. Why it's saying still there is no element? Okay, let's just go right click. Sometimes for the first inspect it is not going to the same. id underscore gender 1. Are we given the same? Yeah, so id underscore gender 1 we have given. This is one another example, just see why it is not able to find. So with id there is only id gender 1. There is another id gender 1, but that is fur, so that is fine. There is another uniform id gender 1, id but uniform, fine. But with id gender 1 there is only one id, total 3, but in that 3 there is only one which is valid. So it is unique basically, but still it is not finding. Why? Okay, name, by name we see there are multiple, I mean duplicate names, it is not finding. But this is not duplicate, this is unique. I
Yes.
pasted here, there are 3, but it is not id, it is fur. You can ignore this. And another one, id gender 1, this is id but there is another text uniform, so this is also we can ignore. So there is only one. But why it is not finding? It is because sometimes when I click on sign in and give something, Ramesh 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, sorry, resource limit is reached. What is this? Okay, sometimes when it, I mean, when I click on create an account, while coming to this page it might take some seconds loading. I mean, it might load slowly, but meanwhile your WebDriver is trying to find an element which is not totally loaded, which the page is not fully loaded, but you're trying to find an element. So that might be another option. Another option. So we have to say in thread dot sleep of 5,000, which is milliseconds, means 5 seconds. Okay. So when I say thread dot sleep, it means that we are saying the driver, please sleep for 5 seconds. After click on submit create button, sleep for 5 seconds, and then only try to search this one. Let's see if that is our issue. I'm just guessing that, but let's see. Because this is ID is unique, but why it is not finding? There might be a reason, like the page has not loaded, but before that itself, the driver is trying to find that element. So I asked driver to wait for 5 seconds uh, after clicking on create button. Okay, and signing. Okay, so now I asked 5 seconds after five. See, now it clicked. So this might be the reason, because the application, I mean the page is loading slowly, but before that itself the driver is trying to find this element. The reason why it's saying unable to locate an element. So in those cases, the easiest way is like you can use thread.sleep. I mean, you can ask your driver to sleep, but this thread.sleep just for debugging purpose. We'll not use this much. Why? Because see, sometimes when your internet is fast and your application is fast, it will immediately go to the page will be loaded, right? So why to waste this 5 seconds? We don't need to wait. We don't need to wait for 5 seconds, right? Okay. So there is something called wait conditions in Selenium. You will say wait until the element is displayed. If the element is displayed in 1 second, it will go and click. That wait concepts we'll see it later. But for now, thread.sleep is the easiest method for debugging. To find your issue, thread.sleep is the easiest one. You're just asking your driver to sleep for 5 seconds and then find the element. Now it finds that. Okay, so all we have this one we have seen, but it is very important and the basics. But if you understand this one, I think you should be good from even tomorrow. Okay. So any doubts here? How do you
Good.
find? You're
As it's
finding
good.
easy or you're finding difficult, or how do you feel it? I mean, it might be difficult, of course, because this is the first time you're looking into this automation, right? Because I've been using from several years. For me, it's of course easy, but for you guys, it is of course very difficult. But how do you feel? Like you're thinking like it's easy, or it might? I mean, it looks easy. It looks easy, or it looks difficult. That is what I just wanted to understand. Okay,
It's
let's
interesting.
maybe. Okay. Hmm.
By listening, I think it's okay, but when we are doing practical, we know what we
Yeah,
are
of
doing
course, of course.
exactly.
Yeah, of course. That is absolutely I agree. Yeah, unless you do more practice, you will not used to. But all in whatever I shown today, right? So this is static.
Hmm.
This will never change. Wherever you go, this is same. You can find this in internet. How to open the Chrome browser in Selenium. Straight away they'll give these 3 lines. Just have to copy and paste. Okay. From here, if you know these locators, I have these locators to find the element. That's all, right? What you have to just have to go right click, inspect element, see ID and name is there, or link text is there. If it is there, then this is a common method. This one you will use. I mean, all the steps you use this one. Driver dot find element of by dot ID name or link text or what, and what is the text, and what is the action. Either you will click it, or either you do send keys. Mostly you do this only, right? Either you enter something, or either you click something. Okay, if you are very clear about these things, and you can do your own practice. I mean, of course, there are things which are like how to select the values from drop downs. Okay, how to select the checkbox. These all things are there, but mostly, yeah, if you know all those elements, then it is easy only. All you need to is that this line you have to remember: driver dot find element until here, and from here, what is the action? Okay, because these three lines you don't need to remember. It is just static. Wherever you go, it's the same. This system dot set property is same. Everybody who is using automation, they have to use this line. Otherwise, your automation will not work. Okay, so we'll end the class today here. Okay. So later, if you have any questions, you can also WhatsApp me for whatever doubts. Okay, anytime.
Can you send this one also
Yeah,
recording
no, no,
so that we
I'll
can?
yeah, of course. Sorry for that. I'll definitely send after some time because I have to make my daughter sleep now. She's waiting for me. Yeah,
Oh,
she'll not sleep unless I I go. So make her sleep, and then
okay,
I'll
okay.
I'll send all the trainings today without fail.
No rush, because when we're practicing test, we can pause this video and we can do some
Of
practice.
course, understand. Yeah, agree. Yeah,
Th-
sure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.